All
Hi, and
right.
welcome to today's A2B's athlete feature. Today we have a very special guest, so we'll get straight into it. Who are you and what is your sport?
Happy Friday, Steph. My name is Rebecca Miller. I say I'm a country girl living a dream in Melbourne, and currently I play for Richmond Tigers in the AFLW competition. But yeah, I've come from the dark side in New South Wales and come across to Victoria back in 2019 to chase the footy dream. So yeah, I just can't say enough, but I dead set live the dream every day.
So good to hear. And how long have you been playing footy for?
I think like back in my day, as they say, as a little girl, we could only play footy AFL until 12 years of age. Um, so I played a couple seasons for under 12s, and then between 12 to 24, I think the only footy exposure I had was once a year at the high school girls gala day at my high school in Wagga. And then I played 2018 in Sydney, found out I had a bit of talent on the footy field. And then sort of in 2019, long story short, got down to Richmond and Tigerland, and they haven't been able to get rid of me since.
So you've been playing since you were 12.
Yeah, yeah, correct. But, not like these girls who, nabos kick all the way through. Bit of an interrupted journey, but yeah, I was very sporty growing up, so I had a lot of hand-eye coordination, and also had a brother 4 years older than me. So yeah, the girls say I can sell a bit of candy, which is sort of the dummy, and I think I get that from my brother, because when he's fired up and pumped up, 4 years older than me, he yeah, I don't want to get tackled by him. So I sort of learned from a young age to be nimble on my feet.
You had no other choice but to be quick.
Yeah, correct.
Love it. Now, I'm super interested to know, especially with AFL women, like in earlier days, it hasn't been supported as much as it has been now. So perhaps you've been forced to having to do something else outside of sport, but have you had something to pursue outside of sport whilst you've been playing?
Yeah, it's a super interesting question. I was, yeah, sort of jotting some notes down for this, and I do currently have a 15-hour marketing job outside of footy, which I really enjoy to have that, outlet from footy. You can just turn up and know footy and get stuck into your marketing job, which I really enjoy. And I've sort of been in that marketing comms space for 3 4 years, which is really enjoyable. But 2023 is a bit of a experimentation year for me. I'm trying to make it that. And whilst I love this 15-hour a week job, I think I'm just trying to do some short courses like this athlete fellowship that we're both in, as well as some coding and some drone courses, and just different things to see what else is out there and what else sparks my curiosity, I guess. And to maybe, get that business, or have something else outside of sport to chase a bit harder. So currently I don't have anything, I guess, set outside of sport that I chase, but I do enjoy my marketing gig quite a bit.
That's so good to hear that you've been able to find another avenue outside of sport and that you're willing to explore different things as well. Because I feel like as the world continues to develop, we need to be ready to continue to develop ourselves. I'm really curious to know what made you want to get into marketing, or how did you know that that was going to be an avenue that you wanted to explore?
Yeah, it was a bit of an accident, which I feel like a lot of people, that's sort of how they fall into their careers, which is maybe not the best attitude or result. But, you know, I I did a gap year in 2014 after high school, and lived in London for a year, had an absolute blast. Sort of was working as an outdoor activity instructor, so running rock climbing, swimming, kayaking sessions. Had a great time, but also had to come back to reality eventually. And I put off uni, and then I sort of thought, what do I want to do? And people always say follow your passions, and I love sport. Reading about it, watching it, playing it, just everything about sport. So went into a diploma of business management, specialising in sports management at Macleod College 2015. That was a 1 year accelerated course. I didn't want to do university for 3 or 4 years and come out with a degree that I wasn't sure about. So I thought I'll get a 1 year diploma and then hit the real world and sort of find my way through that. After 2015, ended up getting a administration job at New South Wales Waratahs for the community side of things at New South Wales Rugby. I was a part of about a team of 25 and absolutely loved them. I think, one of two women in that team. So that was awesome fun. The boys kept me on my feet, that's for sure. But I was working with also development officers whose job was to teach rugby to schools and clubs around the state. And there was so many good stories happening around New South Wales, from bush to beach. And rugby was getting absolutely criticised, and it still does today. It gets a bad rap, but there are so many good things happening out there at grassroots level. So I basically connected with the media team for the Waratahs, the professional rugby team, and was like, hey, we need to tell some great community stories, and sort of learned some skills off them and found out I really enjoyed this space. And then through that gig, went to a consulting company, and they worked for the likes of Ski and Snowboard Australia, Water Polo Australia, Winter Olympics, stuff like that. So, yeah, as I said, I sort of just fell into it, but just really enjoyed being able to meet new people, connect with them in a genuine way, and then tell their story to positively influence the world, I guess.
So good to hear. I think it sounds like you're very modest in the way that you said you fell into it. It sounds like you very much created your own opportunity. It seems like you're a very curious person and that you want to help others. So that's really, really nice to hear. You briefly mentioned about the athlete fellowship. Like, I know about this because, as you said, we're both doing it. But it could be a good thing to explain to our listeners. What is it? What made you want to do it? And more around the exploring about skill development or professional development when you feel like you need to learn more or you want to. It'd be great to hear some more about that.
Yeah, athlete fellowship. I don't think you and I can say a bad word about it. We're week 3 into a 6-week program, which is really, really lots of fun. But basically, I heard about it back in December last year. I went to a networking event, and the great Christy Jenkins was speaking there, and mentioned, or her speech was about the startup industry and how well the characteristics of athletes align with the characteristics of people working in the startup industry. And at that point, I'd never even thought about the startup industry and going into it or learning about it. It never crossed my mind. But once I heard her speak, it really sparked something within me. I thought, oh, let's sort of discover a bit more about this world and what it's all about and how it runs, etc., etc. Because I, was an absolute newbie like yourself, knew nothing, ground zero. And from that chat, follow up with Christy, sent her an email, and she then sent me a link to this program, Athlete Fellowship by StartMate, and applications were open. So I thought, watch to lose, and put my hat in the ring, and then got accepted. And we've started this year back in February or March, and it's sort of a program which teaches all the fellows. Is that 50 of us? Would you say, Steph?
Yeah, I think it's like 50 or 60, so it's quite a large group.
Yeah,
there's so many people out there pretty keen to learn.
Yeah, and from so many different sports, and across Australia and across New Zealand. So it's really fascinating to meet other people online, virtually, and hear their stories like we're doing now. But essentially, the program sort of, I guess, pulls apart the whole industry and, teaches you about it, and also puts you in contact with others who are embedded in that industry. And I think the startup industry is just all about giving back. These people just help and help and help. And huge shout out to Kel, the program manager. She puts on a silver platter for us with all the links on Slack and Notion. And it's great to learn these platforms as well. So it's been, one hell of a ride.
Absolutely. That was a great explanation. Thank you. Sorry, it was off script.
No, it's all good.
Final question. What advice would you give to your younger self or someone who finds themselves in similar shoes to you?
Younger self, I'm going to probably put myself about, 14, 15 for this question, I reckon. And is that okay? 14, 15, yeah. That works? Yeah. I would sort of say, obviously it's probably a very generic answer, but the hard work is just a simple bit of advice. But a more specific bit of advice for a 15-year-old Rebecca Miller would get into a gym. I think the likes of Mon Conti and Ellie McKenzie, my teammates and superstars of the team, which from Tigers but also AFLW as a whole, they went to Maribyrnong Sports High, I believe, and they've been in the gym since 14, 15, and they are just explosive athletes. And, whilst they may not be squatting 100 kilos straight up like that, they're learning about the equipment, about body mechanics, which is incredible. I first sort of got into a gym back in 2019 when I first stepped into Tigerland, and I was just bench pressing the bar at 20 kilos, and hopefully this year I can knock over, a 50 kilo PB would be really nice. I'm aiming for. But
Unreal.
yeah, I think, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. Haven't done it yet, but I'll let you know when I get it done. But yeah, if we can just, I'd tell Rebecca to get in the gym and start learning the body mechanics. And because I think no matter what sport you play, that strength aspect is so important for on field.
100%. It's just that general body awareness, and it just fast tracks your progress.
Yes.
So that's great advice. Thanks, Rebecca.
No worries. Easy done.
And thank you for joining today. It was great to hear about you and your story.
No, thanks for sharing the story, and thanks for the questions and keeping me on toes for a Friday.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers.